dive into authentic conversations about ourselves and our community, exploring topics that uplift and inspire us, from personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation.
Apparently happened. Kid Cudi has confirmed that. I'm now wondering if Kid Cudi is going to be called to testify. The court was shown a close-up picture of Ventura's eyebrow and black eye. When asked who gave her the black eye, Ventura responded, Sean. Combs prevented his family from seeing Ventura after she had sustained any injuries, she said. He told me to make sure his sons couldn't see me like that, the bruises on my face, Ventura told the court. So now, again, this goes back to what I was saying in regards to Diddy allowing his children to be in court. Again, it is a legal move, a legal strategy to remind the jurors he's a family man, his family needs him, blah, blah, blah. But now they're hearing, the children are hearing what he did to Cassie Ventura. And I'm saying this now, and I'm going to say it again. If he did this to Cassie, he did it to other women in his life. They continued, they said, Cassie Ventura testified that Combs raped her in 2018 after she said that they were a conversation. This was also in her lawsuit. At a restaurant in Malibu, California, she recalled their conversation being nice and playful. At that time, she said that she was already in a relationship with her now husband, Alex Fine. Combs eventually took her to her apartment. Ventura told the court, I went inside, he came in and raped me on the living room floor. Ventura alleged in court, I remember crying and saying no, it was fast, his eyes were black. He wasn't himself. It was like somebody told me. She said after the incident, the two were intimate voluntarily one other time. They talk about that in the court as well. Again, I know there will be the people on the internet trolls saying like, look, see, that's the type of woman she is. You don't understand the cycle of abuse. Again, all of that in today's society, if this was 20 years ago, I can understand the ignorance. At this particular point, there are so many amazing content creators, and Google is your friend that will explain if you really want to understand the cycle of abuse and why men refuse to leave these abusive relationships and why they feel this connection to their abusers. According to NBC News, they said Ventura wrapped up her direct testimony telling jurors she took the witness stand to rid herself of the shame, the guilt she has carried.
Today we are setting up this
All
Chick-fil-A.
right, we are paying bills over on the Tea Sippers channel. Let's keep it going. Diddy's keeping the lights on right now, y'all. So make sure that when you come in and fill your teacup up, you like and subscribe because you got lights on in this motherfucker, okay? Yes, let's keep it cute.
Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson asked Ventura why she put herself through this process. She says, I can't carry this anymore. The shame, the guilt. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. People aren't disposable, Ventura said. The jury is now on a short break before cross-examination is expected to begin. Cassie's second day on the stand wraps up, according to NBC News. They said, in general, Ventura kept her composure today, as opposed to yesterday where she had a little bit of emotion, answering questions in a calm and matter-of-fact tone, but she became more visibly emotional as she described Combs allegedly R-ing her in 2018, and she broke down in tears shortly after she recounted her trauma and her wanting to take her own life. She talked about that in court, wanting to walk into traffic, and talked about her, quote, personal shame. Defense cross-examination is planned for day 4 of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. U.S. District Court Judge Aaron Subramanian sent jurors home for the day, telling them to return Thursday at 9:30 a.m. on the dot. Serious. That's when Combs' defense lawyers are set to begin what could be a lengthy cross-examination of Cassie Ventura. Again, I remind you, this woman is 8 months pregnant, talking about her trauma. NBC News finalizes this as at the end of her direct testimony, Cassie Ventura said that she settled her lawsuit with Combs for $20 million. Less than 24 hours later, Ventura said her attorney initially reached out to Combs and his representatives to ask about compensating her $30 million after informing them of her plans to write a book about her relationship with Combs.
So I'm going to ask Sippers, how do you guys feel about her being able to testify, being that she did get paid, right? Her and Dawn, I believe Dawn also received a payment.
She considered the book a part of her trauma therapy. She did not receive any money at that time. Guys, we're going to continue. You've been asking me and keep letting me know if you want me to do a day. If there are days I can, I will definitely do a follow-up covering the day's events of this trial. We are going to continue to follow the Sean Diddy Combs trial. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, follow us on socials because I will be updating you with, and it's an email. So let me read the email to you. It's a lengthy email, but I'm going to read it to you. Greetings. It says, today, March 5th, 2016, at approximately 11:14 a.m. And TMZ posted the full 15-minute video, as I mentioned earlier. In the email, it says, I received a call from Instant Services Wanda stating that she had gotten a distress call from the floor. I then looked at the cameras to familiar with the situation up on the floor. All I saw before I took off immediately was a male black wearing only a towel walking back and forth. I arrived at the scene at 11:15 a.m. I noticed that the male black was rapper Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy. This is the then security officer who's now an LAPD officer. I observed Mr. Combs sitting down on the far left chair of the 6th floor, and the female who was closer to the wall, later identified as Cece by Mr. Combs. Cece, what we learned yesterday is that was what he would refer to Cassie as Cassie Combs, even though they're not married. He liked using initials, like he called Christina Curran KK, now CC. The email continues. It said, I saw the damage that had been done, and I began to diffuse the situation by advising Mr. Combs to understand his status and the safety and concerns of our guests. He began yelling at Miss Cece, and I advised both of them to separate from each other, that it wasn't convenient for both of them to continue, especially in the hallway and in a towel. I then proceeded to advise him to return back to Mr. Combs began to offer me a bribe. You take care of this. I got you. Let's go to my room. I then responded with, sir, I know you are, while I'm extending my arm to him to shake his hand, and said, all I ask is for the respect of the guests and myself, so do me the favor and let's return to your room. He got up and began to walk to his room. As we made our way down the north hallway, Miss Cece was behind us, coming from the south hallway. Mr. Combs noticed her while turning back and began to raise his voice. I then told him that if he didn't respect the guest, then he would be escorted out of the property. We walked over to his room 602, and when he went inside and Miss Cece was told to leave by Mr. Combs, so she did just that, which is what she wanted to do, because in the video footage, she was trying to leave, but then he then grabbed her at the elevator. And
my mom, 58, did
Tea sippers, we're going to have a long day, okay? Diddy updates, follow-ups, and what's currently being sipped in the courthouse today. First day of the first week wraps up today. Okay, I hear Don from Danity Kane's going to testify, y'all. What's tea?
and her things. They continue in the email. Mr. Combs opened the door and brought out a currency band wrapped around $100 and told me, again, thank you, and said, you take care of this and I take care of you. I declined the money and told Mr. Combs that all we needed was for him to stay in his room until checkout, which is today. I left the scene at 11:25 a.m. I took the elevator down and saw Miss Cece and advised her that I did not want him to see her, so I walked her over to the valet office until her ride got there. I asked her that we would need some information from her to stand by. I then walked over to MOD's office and advised him of the situation, that I needed him present. We then walked over to Miss Cece, and she was unable to locate. I'm reading you this exactly as it's written. This is I'm guessing an incident report, their version of an incident report in an email. So she probably just got out of there. We then went up to the 6th floor and took pictures of the guest lobby elevator landing and made our way to the guest room 602. MOD wanted to introduce himself and let him know of the hotel rules and to advise him that the damages would be charged to his room. When Mr. Combs came out, he was about to start yelling, still in his towel, but MOD and I stopped him before he did and advised him that we were not there to make it bigger than it already was. He saw MOD holding his phone, and he automatically assumed that he was being recorded. So he grabbed his hand, then grabbed his hand and told him to back off and took his hand away from MOD. He was then told no one was recording him, that the safety and the privacy of the guest is important to the hotel. And if he tried to do something like that, he would get kicked out and escorted out of the property by the Los Angeles PD. He calmed himself down and apologized and stated that it's just that I don't want to lose anything. I can't lose it all. We then reassured him that all we need him to do was to calm down and not have any more scenes like the time until his checkout time. We then left the scene and resumed normal operations. So this was stuff that Diddy was doing all the time and apparently paying people off in order to keep this stuff hush hush. So people have known about this behavior. This incident happened in 2016. Note, they said we will be conducting extra patrols until his checkout, in which we will be taking pictures of how the room is left at this moment. Here are the pictures of the MOD took of the guest lobby. Please stand by until we have all the pictures. Mr. Combs has not checked out yet. And the state of these rooms that Diddy would leave us. Remember, the day this incident happened, they apparently were having a freak off, and Cassie was just like, I need to leave. This is what ensued. I wanted to read that to you guys in regards to, because this was one of the witnesses that testified on the first day of the trial. So we're going to continue to follow this. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like this video, because that's also important. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section. But more importantly, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to turn on your notifications.
Up to date commentary, testimony, okay, about Diddy. So, lots of stuff going on. Like everybody, we're all on the fence. I think some people have been, Team Diddy, Team Cassie. I'm in the middle. I really don't know
quite where I am with the trafficking stuff with her. I do definitely feel the psychological abuse that occurred, things like that. I definitely feel that part of it. And so I can understand how she could have been psychologically manipulated into believing that there was a relationship with Diddy. Diddy is very well seasoned mentally to, take advantage of a younger person in the mind like that. So we're gonna continue up with Empire Girl. He has all the up-to-date minutes on Diddy shit. Okay, he's a kick pop culture over on YouTube. Remember, when you come in for your teacup up too, also like and subscribe. Thank you, sippers. Let's get it.
And a lot of celebrity names are being brought up, from Kid Cudi, Britney Spears, Dallas Austin, Michael B. Jordan. Not only that, we have to talk about the fact that Aubrey O'Day is set to testify, according to Us Weekly.
Here we go now. Aubrey O'Day. So Aubrey O'Day is
in this cross-examination.
Right?
They're thinking maybe this will go on to Monday. The prosecution would like for Cassie to be able to finish this week because she is very pregnant and she could give birth this weekend. So a source confirmed this information to Us Weekly. As you already know, this trial started on May 5th with the jury selection. The actual testimony started this week. They said in a quote from an insider, "It's nerve-wracking but ready. She's not going to back down. She wants justice for everyone," the insider said, hinting that O'Day has a project in the works that will be about the Diddy trial. Aubrey shared details from her travels to New York City via Instagram on Wednesday, May 14th, saying, "Hey, New York, where y'all think I should head first?" O'Day captioned a video adding a weighing scale emoji, which is traditionally used as a symbol for justice and fairness in the legal system. O'Day crossed paths with Diddy, as you know, after appearing on MTV's Making of the Band in 2005, 20 years ago. Oh my gosh, we are old. By the grace of God, right? Making of the Band 3 in 2005, she became a breakout star and was eventually chosen to be a member of the group Danity Kane, who was signed to Diddy's Bad Boy Records alongside Dawn Richard and Shannon Bex.
Now, that's who I heard was going to testify, Dawn. So also the white girl, Aubrey. Oh.
Dawn Richard will be testifying. As you know, she's suing Diddy civilly. Diddy revealed during the Making of the Band 4 finale in 2008 that O'Day had been kicked out of the group. O'Day has been outspoken about her past experiences with Diddy over the years. More recently, she spoke about the big shift in her life since allegations against Diddy started to go public. And if you watch the Max documentary where D. Woods was involved, she actually told a story about Diddy trying to get with Aubrey, which I thought was kind of weird. And I don't know the relationship with D. Woods and Aubrey today for her to share such a personal story that should have come from Aubrey. But again, maybe she got permission to share that because Aubrey has alluded to issues and things that she would like to talk about when it comes to Diddy, but she has not said a word about it. She hasn't written a book. She hasn't done a show yet. But maybe she was waiting for this moment to actually talk about it in the trial. So more than likely, we probably will see Aubrey O'Day on the stand in the Diddy trial next week. A lot of people are saying they started off strong. The prosecution started off strong with Cassie, but buckle up, they might have a lot more in their arsenal. All right, so that is the breaking news. I want to kind of move forward from there in regards to what's happening today on the stand. As I've mentioned before in other videos, there are quite a few celebrities that are mentioned in this trial, from Cassie, from Kid Cudi, so Dallas Austin, Britney Spears was mentioned today, just because they were in these circles. Not that they did anything specifically.
Now, do we or do we not believe that more than likely a lot of the celebrities were getting freaking off with Diddy and Cassie? I wholeheartedly that's what was going on. You see what I'm saying? So let's not even hold back. It's out now, and I want to know
who they were at these events. So let me just give you shout out to our friends as always. always, what we do over here is cite our sources for day 4 of the Kempire's summary of the Diddy trial. And at this particular point of the recording, they're almost done for the day. I thought I could at least get this started because there's a lot to cover. I've got my water. I hope you've gotten yours as well. Stay hydrated. And I probably would keep my fourth wall in, especially on doing the dailies of this, recording and then editing this. I'm not going to do a lot of editing. I just try to get rid of just nonsensical ums and that kind of thing if I can. But some of that's going to be left in too. So bear with me. This is live. You know, we normally would clean cut, do all this stuff, but I'm trying to get a lot of information in that's happening throughout a full day on a daily basis to you guys. So I apologize in advance, those that might be new here and getting your news from me. Okay, so let me go through this. And again, not only do I utilize NBC News, throughout the day, I am following Inner City Press on social media, some other amazing journalists that are covering and talking about this story. I'm listening to Law and Crime to hear different perspectives. So I'm getting a full knowledge. So I will be adding my thoughts and opinions throughout. I saw Piers Morgan just.
This is your sign.
Sippers, we are sipping a little tea from Kempire. I want y'all to stay tuned. Wherever you go, make sure you plug me in to keep me charged up. I have the tea. We're going to be watching the United States versus D. Okay. Every week, we're going to be watching that. So stay tuned. Make sure to have your teacups out because I will be filling them up on the wrapping up of the week of the Diddy trial.
Did an interview with someone that alleges that Diddy is into trafficking and things like that.
And when are they going to get to the actual trafficking of Diddy? They've currently already have the escorts saying they love Diddy. That's not typical conversation or lingo of a trafficked person. Okay. So it's like, when are we really going to get to the meat and potatoes of what the trafficking looked like in the life of Diddy? I mean, where's 50 Cent at? Didn't he say he had some salacious shit on the diddler? Somebody needs to spill this, because if it's going to matter in whether or not Diddy is sentenced, convicted or not, this would be the time. Because I don't think
his life
that, you know what I'm saying?
But that was an interview that I listened to.
Dealing with Diddy, they are able to bring these charges back up on Diddy again. I don't know. Y'all drop some tea in the chat and let me know whether or not Diddy can be retried if he is found not to be guilty at this time for what's going on. I mean, they did it to R. Kelly. Right? Then they do that to R. Kelly. So potentially, but I'm saying, you got the mouse in the trap right now. You might as well hook him and book him.
Earlier in regards to Piers Morgan, do I think that anything damning was said in that interview with this man who is going into hiding? He says, after this interview, I'm going into hiding. They try to prevent me from doing this interview. He says people have tried to poison him before. And he's in the business people from trafficking. Nothing necessarily new, I feel, came out of that interview, if I recall, but I'm going to go listen to it again. It was like a 25-minute interview on Piers Morgan's Uncensored YouTube channel. All right, so let me get back to the Diddy trial. So this is where we'll talk about it. First of all, NBC News, before the trial started today, out the amount of allegations that have come against Sean Combs has harmed his reputation, and multiple brands had ended up dropping him. Brands and organizations have already cut ties with Sean Diddy Combs since the allegations against him went public. I wonder if are there any brands currently still working with him? That is the question. Like, okay, that's all well and good. What are the brands that are still working with Diddy? Like, who's handling the day-to-day when it comes to Bad Boy? And I know you're thinking, there are people signed to Bad Boy? Technically, there are. Isn't Machine Gun Kelly signed to that? Isn't Janelle Monáe record label in conjunction, her own record label in conjunction with Bad Boy still? I haven't been up to date in regards to that. So they said at least 18 brands and organizations have already cut ties with Sean Diddy Combs. We took the key of New York back from him, and we gave it to Mayor Eric Adams. Okay. Since the allegations against him went public before a verdict in his case has been reached, Molly McPherson, a reputation and crisis strategist, spoke with NBC News' Gotti Schwartz about the possibility of reputation being impaired depending on the outcome of the trial. So they posted a video with that interview. Let's take a listen.
And while Diddy's trial continues, so does the brand fallout. At least 18 brands, organizations have all cut ties with the music.
And all the brands that they have highlighted here, from DeLeon Tequila, you remember the Harlem Charter School that he was involved in, Ciroc, Howard University, Revolt, Peloton, Macy's, because remember he had a Sean John brand with them. They immediately.
Did you know that women are generating recurring royalties from romance novels they didn't even write themselves? If you've ever wanted a fun, creative, and beginner-friendly way to create online income without dealing with products, customers, or even social media, this is it. Romance isn't just popular.
Cut ties with them.
Since the news of these serious allegations went public, and these right here, these are just some of them. It shows a pretty big shift.
I didn't even know he had.
Brands aren't waiting for.
I didn't even know he had a partnership with Peloton.
Verdict anymore, and it raises the questions: can Diddy ever bounce back from this, regardless of outcome here? So here to help us answer that question is reputation and crisis strategist Molly McPherson. Molly, good to see you. Thanks so much for being with us. Is there any coming back from this for Diddy?
It's very difficult because P. Diddy, Sean Combs, whatever the name is now, a liability. It's going to hurt any brand that affiliates with Diddy right now.
And here's the other aspect of that. Yes, even if he was to get off in regards to these charges, what he's admitted in this trial is
Who would
DV,
want to
domestic
associate with
violence.
Diddy after
He has
that?
admitted to that. There's footage of that. That alone should be something that brands do not want to work with in the future.
And in the future.
And I mean, Bad Boy Records, like, he's got a lot of other brands. He's brought a lot of people up in this industry. Are they all tainted by his name as well now?
Yes, it's interesting when you look back when Sean Combs really became big. I mean, he embodied his brand, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records. It's all about the artist representing that energy, that, that edgy energy. But now that type of energy and branding is really crucifying him in terms of public perception. From a brand perspective, a business perspective, that's the type of currency they no longer want. I mean, that name is a tainted, toxic name for good. So this is not a name I don't think is going to come back anytime.
And mind you, remember, there was a period of time where Diddy was trying to sell off. Well, not sell off. He was giving back the artists. Remember, he was giving back. Aubrey talked about this. He was giving back their royalties and things like that. And at this particular point, Aubrey says she wasn't taking it back. She's like, at this particular point with streaming, it's not worth anything. You should have given it to us when it was worth something. But maybe he knew that this was looming, and this is why he was trying to just give it back to them and make them sign NDAs where they didn't say anything bad about him or his mama.
From a positive perspective.
And there are other names that we're hearing that could come up in court. What could even the mention of their name in this type of trial, beyond some of the names that we've heard so far, Kid Cudi being one of them, what could any name that's brought into this trial suffer in terms of repercussions here?
Yeah, there are plenty of people who have attended Sean Combs parties in the past that are probably worried that they're going to be brought into this case. Even though legally the outcome is still pending, the court of public opinion moves a lot faster than the legal system. Any name that's associated with this trial, even if it's someone that was just simply at an event, they're going to be thrown into the algorithm. They're going to be thrown into that digital conversation. And that's when you don't want your name. You don't want to be in the Wikipedia annals of this case. So there's a lot of people probably sweating it right now.
Wow.
And I wanted to get your take, because you've seen a lot of these high-profile cases, and it is interesting to see this one that is not televised. At least we're not seeing the images come out, with the exception of these pictures that come out every single day, these drawings. How do you think that's going? Do you think that's kind of tamped things down publicly, or is there just
Thanks for watching. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing. It's a blessing. Keep your teacups filled and ready for my next upload. Until then, stay inspired and remember, always stay dipping. It's authentic conversations about ourselves and our topics that uplift and inspire us. From personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation. Thanks for watching. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing. It's a blessing. Keep your teacups filled and ready for my next upload. Until then, stay inspired and remember, always stay dipping.